Hello everybody, my name is C3PAwesome, and today I'm going to be showing you something really cool inside of Revenge of the Sith. I've been doing a lot of training and a lot of work using dummies and just playing around with the game to see how we can break it open and just have a competitive game. This might be the only competitive Star Wars game, like competitive Star Wars fighting game that I have found. And I have recently discovered a little bit of tech I want to share with you all. This is the first little bit of tech I've actually been managed to find in this game. And it's not that interesting, it's not that technical, but it is slightly technical. So allow me to explain what I mean for a second. Now, in Star Wars Episode 1, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, in the first few minutes, used something called Force Speed. And they just basically moved really fast. They've never used it again since, which is a bit of a shame. But in this game, they actually built it in as a sort of special move, as if. It's basically, it replaces your dash. This is your normal movement speed, which is pretty good. And this is your normal walk speed. Like it's very menacing, as you can see. But this is as fast as you can go normally. However, if you double tap the stick and hold it, you will use Force Speed. And it, as you can see from the Force bar, it depletes extremely fast. So most of the time, people don't like to use it because of how much it depletes the Force bar. You could use that for so many other things, like Force Push to grab the opponent, Force Lightning, Force Mind Trick, stuff like that. And the thing is, though, when you're in Force Dash, or Force Speed, whatever, you can actually do two different moves. If you press the square button, you'll do a little upper slash, which is not that bad of a move. However, there is another move, which is much better, and I'm going to have Obi-Wan block for a second, because if I dash at him... Oh, whoops, if I dash at him... Okay, if I dash at him... You'll get an amazing amount of push block from the triangle move, and if I hit him with it,
you can't beat me.
He will actually get knocked back. And these are both very good moves if you want to just use them.
This ends now.
So the problem is, what if you want to use these moves, but you don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of your force bar in order to dash around? It's very volatile, and you do move pretty fast on your own. So what's the point of using Force Speed? And here is what I figured out, and this is a bit of tech. I call it force canceling, and it's very simple how you do it, but it does require a lot of practice and some timing. I might not even be able to pull it off first time again, but basically what you have to do is you have to double tap the stick, hold the double tap for a very certain amount of time. It has to be, you can't just let go of it, otherwise it won't work, as you can see. I'm double tapping it and it's not working. So you actually have to hold down the stick just for a little tiny bit. And this is something that will have to be trained over time, but if you do it right, you can see he starts into his Force Speed, but he ends it. Again, it's really hard to do. I still haven't mastered it myself, but it is very useful. And you can see your force bar doesn't deplete like the heck. So watch this. If I just do the force cancel,
you're a disgrace to the
hold
order.
On. I can still do the move, and I don't waste a ridiculous amount of my force bar. So again, very supreme timing. But if you can master it,
and you call yourself a Jedi Master,
then you can get a lot of good force cancels on your opponent. I know that this isn't anything too unique, but it does require a lot of timing, and it is a bit more technical because in order to do it, again, you have to hold down the stick for a certain amount of time after the second tap, meaning that it's extremely hard to kind of do it correctly. Even, again, I keep trying to do it now, and yes, sometimes I do it, but it's very hard to do. And you see, it is canceling, and that's the point of force canceling, is you don't go into a full sprint, you just do a little hop. And that is basically the summary of it. You need to double tap the stick, and I can't give you an exact time. This is something that you're going to have to practice on your own. But to do it, again, you just tap and then tap again, hold it for a very small amount of time, and then let go. And again, it's very hard to do. This is something that I only discovered this yesterday, so I'm trying to practice it. And I still haven't mastered it yet. Like, you see, I keep trying, but I still can't master the force cancel entirely. But this is still something that's going to be very, very helpful in competitive play, because that gives you the option of using both force
Now I am
dash
the master.
moves. Of course, you know, I can't do the force cancel now. There we go. Alright, there we go. Again, it's something that has to be trained, so if you can figure it out, that's great. But again, it's very technical.
I told you I was the best.
But if you can master it, you won't have to use a tremendous amount of your force bar in order to use these moves. And these moves are good moves, by the way. The strike
You'll never beat me.
is very good, and so is the triangle move. Oh my gosh, I really can't do it. But you get the idea. Again, very hard to master, and I am still not mastered it. But if you do want to play this game competitively, this is going to be something that's going to make you, you know, a little bit better. And I'm sure some people are going to master it. You kind of consider it like wave dashing in a way, in Super Smash Brothers. Basically, you just have to time it. It's not something that you're going to be able to master all on one day. So you're going to need to practice it over and over again until you can eventually figure it out. Oh my gosh, Anakin. Okay. Again,
You call this a fight?
hard to do, but I still can't do it correctly. You see this? It's like, I still can't do it. But you get the idea. Force canceling is going to be something that you are going to want to master. And again, I'm going to keep practicing on my own, but I recommend that everyone practices. And this is going to be a bit of a double video, because now I'm going to show you how you can make a dummy. Because I'm sure if you noticed, there's no training mode in this game, yet I have an Obi-Wan here that is basically a little bit of a dummy. So how do you make a dummy? So I'm going to actually quit the duel really quickly. And I'm going to go back to the menu. I'm going to show you how you can make a dummy. This is the double up video. And I'm going to go to multiplayer. We only have two modes. We have versus and cooperative. Versus is the only mode that you will going to want to play if you want the fighting game mode. And here you have all 9 characters. And if you normally just select a character, the other person will be a computer. So how do you make it so that you have a dummy? Well, allow me to show you. I want you to bring up the emulator settings. PCX2 is right here, as you can see. I'm going to go to Config, Controllers, Plugin Settings. And as you can see Pad 1 and Pad 2. I want you to go to Pad 2. And here's what you have to do. First, set it so that the Start button is your Enter button. That's the first part. Just click the Start button and then press the Enter button. It says, please enter an input for start. I already have my input centered, so I'm not going to be pressing anything, but you get the idea. I'm going to go back in really quickly. I'm not going to be pressing the buttons, but you get the idea. Pad 2. After that, you want to do a couple other things. Start is just the small part, because start, press start button to join. Then you also want to set your cross button. And I know this is going to sound weird, but set your cross button to your down arrow key. And then for L3 and right 3, I want you to put that as your left arrow key and your right arrow key. And then finally, I want you, where is it? Alright, I want you to put the left bumper as your up arrow key. Once you do this, go back into the game, and then press the start button. You'll log in as another character. Then press the down arrow key, and it will select that character. Go into any match, and just wait for it to load, and then I'll tell you what to do afterward.
You can't beat me.
You won't win this time. This keeps getting better.
Alright, so now you're in the match, you're playing, and you have your dummy. So the reason why I put the L1 button as your up arrow key is if you press the up arrow key, The opponent will now block, so you can practice block
You have a
strings.
chance? Ha!
The X button will let you follow up with jump attacks. And then finally, I'm going to teach you why I decided to put L3 and R3 as your 2 buttons. So let's do a little bit of damage to Obi-Wan. Now you don't want to keep resetting the match over and over again to try new combos. So to stop this, all you have to do is press the left and right arrow keys, and the enemy will heal, meaning that you can keep resetting their health and practicing your combo strings. This way will give you a lot of practice, and it's basically a self-made training mode. Obviously, you can't see what combos are true and what aren't. Some of that will have to be, figured out in matches, but, there are other games where they don't have training modes, yet they still have competitive stuff. So, again, you have your block, you have your jump, and you have your heal. Those are the 3 primary things. If you want to put all of the buttons down, you can try and list that on your keyboard, but these are the basic things that you have to have for a training dummy. This is what I do all the time when I'm practicing combos and how I'm practicing my block strings. Just basically everything I have for my characters, I just practice by giving the enemy these inputs. Alright, and that basically wraps it up. So to wrap it up, force canceling is something that you're going to want to learn very soon. It's, again, very hard to master, but gives you a lot of advantage, and it lets you use 2 more moves. So practice that. I'm going to be practicing it on my own. It's going to be hard to do, but it is going to be very vital when you are going to be getting up into the higher leagues of this game. And as for making a dummy, I taught you how. Remember, enter is, in this game, it's the pause button, but it's also the start button. Block is up arrow, jump is down arrow, and then left arrow and right arrow is your healing. That is everything you're going to need to have a dummy and for force canceling. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.